year has received growing attention from activists, legislators, and experts. Shockingly, it is said that each year 12 million girls get married before the age of 18, with South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa having extremely high rates of this practice. The complex nature of child marriage was the subject of various studies conducted, exploring its causes, effects, and possible solutions. This sets the stage for us to understand a global concern that needs attention. To get to know more about people's opinions on child marriage, I have a student from Taylor's to hear her out and hear her thoughts on it. So what do you think about child marriage, your overall opinion?
Yeah, I think child marriage is a very serious case in the world right now. There's a lot of cases about child marriage around me, but I'm not really sure how to solve it.
We've actually done a survey on child marriage, and our results show that many are aware of the situation and its issues, but lack the power to make a change.
The survey reveals a resounding 94.8% agreement that child marriage is unacceptable, underlining a global consensus against this practice. Notably, 91.7% and 81.6% believe child marriage stems from a nexus of lack of education and poverty. Tackling these issues become imperative to combat child marriage. Interestingly, a majority is aware of child marriage within their own home countries, emphasizing the need to delve into the moral fabric of religions and cultures enabling this practice. In our collective pursuit to end child marriage, understanding these survey insights is a crucial step towards unraveling its complexities.
Hi, Maliha. Would you be comfortable with talking about your experience? Just let me know if you're okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
So you shared to me about what happened when you were 15, and I'd appreciate if you could share a bit more in depth.
So this all started when I was 15. So it was a normal school day, and I just came home from school. And then as soon as I went in, my parents sat me down and they told me that there's this really nice boy who wants to marry me. And I just first listened to them, and they were talking about how he'll provide for me, how he'll take care of me, buy me whatever I want, provide meals. It will just be a very secure life. At that moment, I felt just really scared and helpless because I didn't think I'd have a say in this. I couldn't really focus like in school because of this. It was like bothering me the whole time because the fact that I would have to give up my teenage years and then suddenly transition into a wife, something I didn't expect at all to happen so suddenly, right?
Is it a normal practice in Bangladesh? Do a lot of children get married at a very young age?
Yeah, actually, marrying early at such a young age in most Asian countries is very much normalized, especially in Bangladesh. It's a very normal thing over here.
So if you're comfortable with sharing with us, could you just tell me how you managed to get out of that situation? Because your parents seemed very set on making sure you got married at that age. So how did you manage to convince them to not let that happen?
Initially, yeah, my parents were very set on me marrying this boy, but I just could not sleep at night knowing that I'll be marrying this total stranger and live my whole life with this man I do not know. It was just very scary and it bothered me every single day. Every single second, it was on my mind. So at night, when everyone else was asleep, I would slowly go and use the PC that everyone at home shared at the time, and I would look up articles about marriages like this and see if it's legal or whatnot. When I looked it up online, I found so many articles about so many girls my age and many teen girls who were just married off the same way I was going to. And in all of those interviews, all of these girls, they just kept saying about how bad their life was after they got married. They weren't happy with themselves. They were forced into something they didn't want to even do in the first place. It was just a living hell for them. I just couldn't keep quiet anymore. So I confronted my parents and I told them all about these articles and I told them how exactly I was feeling. And I told them that I didn't want to marry a boy at this age, that I want to just focus on my future, focus on my studies mainly, and work, study, do everything that a normal girl of that age would do. They were hesitant at first, but eventually they understood. And I'm so grateful that they did, because my cousins, my mom, they were all victims of this generational pattern. And it finally ended with me. And to be honest, if it wasn't for the internet and the education sources that my mom and other women in the past didn't have access to that kind of awareness or education about child marriage, I don't think this would have happened. I feel like I still would have been married off.
I am so glad that you're out of the situation, and it's very clear that all it took was just educating them and for you to educate yourself enough to not go ahead with that. So, what would you think is the main reason child marriage is allowed, and what do you think everyone should do in order to avoid it?
To be frank, in our culture, women especially are too afraid to just stand up for themselves and fight against anything, to be honest, because it's a norm. And personally, I feel that everyone should have access to proper education, and children should be motivated to become independent in their own way so then they can have their own opinions. Just they can voice themselves and stand against things they don't want to do, like forced into getting married young.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, Maliha, thank you so much. I really appreciate you talking about it and being comfortable enough to open up about it.
You're welcome, and I'm always willing to talk about these issues because I feel like talking about these issues always raises awareness. And as long as I help like at least one girl out there to make the right decision, I'd be happy. So, yeah.
In the Western world, a narrative unfolds where freedom and education stand as pillars shaping societal perspectives. Education becomes a sanctuary, empowering children to explore their potential unrestricted by the shadows of early marriages. Contrasting this, in regions influenced by child marriage, tradition often directs the course of young lives, overshadowing individual aspirations. Activists in Western communities actively rally against child marriage, fostering a collective commitment to dismantle these chains. As we explore these perspectives, let us recognize the contrast, a dichotomy where Western values emphasize individual freedom, standing in stark opposition to cultural norms prevalent in other parts of the world.
So, concluding our exploration, we've delved into different perspectives on child marriage. Examining the Eastern traditions alongside the emphasis of freedom in the West, we see how these two stand in contrast, creating very unique societal norms. However, amid these differences, a shared commitment arises. Communities and activists are globally working towards cultivating a better future for children and fighting against child marriage. In essence, we need to work towards changing this situation and this global issue. So let's advocate for change, raise awareness, and stand together against child marriage, ensuring a brighter and unrestrained future for children all over the world.